Are HexClad pans as durable as Gordan Ramsay says they are? Let's find out. HexClad claims that the raised steel dots on its cooking surface protect the nonstick coating from scratches. So to see if that claim is actually true, I put HexClad and 2 other nonstick pans through a series of stress tests. The 2 other pans I tested were Green Pan, which has a ceramic nonstick coating that they claim is metal utensil safe, and Tramontina, which has a nonstick coating made of PTFE, better known as Teflon. These other 2 pans don't have the benefit of HexClad's hybrid surface, so in theory, they aren't as durable. Here's what I did, what happened, and why the real winner of this test is not the pan I expected. I started with 3 brand new pans. After giving them a quick rinse, I heated each pan until it reached 300 degrees Fahrenheit, added a ½ teaspoon of oil, and spread it evenly with a paper towel. Then I added an egg. The eggs in the Green Pan and Tramontina pans slid around with 0 sticking. Since HexClad has a rougher surface with exposed steel, it needed a nudge with the spatula. But once I got it going, the eggs slid around the pan. The goal here was to establish a baseline for each pan's nonstick performance before putting them through my durability tests. This is where the fun begins. For the first test, I attached a 5-pound weight to a wooden spatula and rubbed it across each pan 150 times. I used the weight to make sure there was consistent pressure across all 3 pans. HexClad showed 0 marks or damage. Tramontina and Green Pan both showed faint streaks and rub marks that you could see with the right lighting, but no serious damage. Next, I switched to a metal ladle, but this time I only did 50 strokes. I knew right away that this was bad for Green Pan. The ladle caused several deep scratches in the ceramic nonstick coating. Tramontina held up much better. There were some faint streak marks, but no major damage. I was a little surprised since Tramontina is the only pan of the 3 that's not advertised as metal utensil safe. As soon as I started scraping HexClad, the ladle made noticeable marks. But it turns out the marks were metal dust from the ladle scraping against the steel ridges on the pan, not actual scratches, so they wiped off easily. After that, I conducted another test using a stand mixer to make sure the impact was consistent. I propped up each pan so the beater made full contact with the cooking surface. Then I set the mixer on low speed and let it run for exactly 2 minutes. I rotated the pans after 1 minute. Similar to the last test, the beater left marks on HexClad, but these were mostly dust from the coating on the beater rubbing against the raised steel ridges on the pan. It wiped right off when I rubbed my finger over it. Tramontina and Green Pan held up much better than I expected. Both had noticeable circular rub marks, but no deep scratches. For my next test, I swapped out the beater for a metal whisk and let it run for 30 seconds. And let me tell you, the HexClad did not like that at all. It made this awful grinding sound and left these really obvious white marks all over. Most of it wiped right off, but when I took a closer look, I could see some actual scratches underneath. Tramontina got away with just some light rub marks and 1 tiny scratch. Green Pan surprised me again, just a few faint marks, but nothing serious. After that, I put 2 magnets weighing 4.5 ounces on a metal spatula and scraped each pan back and forth 50 times. The spatula left white streaks on HexClad, but they wiped right off with no permanent damage. Tramontina finally showed some weakness with noticeable streaks and some minor scratches. Also, tiny bits of the nonstick coating rubbed off onto the spatula, which is pretty gross. Green Pan looked almost untouched after the test with no visible damage at all. Next, I took a 2-pound steel saucepan and dropped it on the surface of each pan from about 1 inch high 20 times. The goal of this was to simulate the damage that can occur when storing or stacking pans in your cabinets over several months. I know pan protectors exist, but most people won't use them consistently. Fortunately, all 3 pans survived this test with no visible damage. After all that, I cooked another egg in each pan using the same heat and oil to see how much the abuse impacted the nonstick performance. With HexClad, there was some decline in nonstick properties. The eggs stuck a little bit more, especially after flipping, although the parts that stuck easily came off. Green Pan's decline was more significant. especially given how perfectly nonstick it was initially. Even after loosening the egg with the spatula, it wouldn't budge when I shook the pan, and it stuck after I flipped it. But again, I was able to easily wipe off the stuck-on egg. Tramontina held up the best. The egg slid around almost like the pan hadn't been touched. I don't know exactly why this pan held up the best, but I have a couple theories. Unlike HexClad and Green Pan, which have a ceramic nonstick coating, Tramontina uses PTFE. This material has some safety concerns, especially when it's overheated, but it's widely believed to be more durable and flexible than ceramic nonstick. My other theory is that during the whisk test, HexClad's steel ridges caused the whisk to catch, snap down hard into the ceramic nonstick valleys between them. That's what caused the loud grinding sound and created a hammering effect rather than just scraping. The reality is that HexClad's hybrid surface does a good job preventing scratches from larger utensils like spoons and spatulas, but there is some space between the steel ridges. So if you scrape the surface with forks, knives, or in this case a whisk, the nonstick coating can get scratched. The moral of the story is that you need to be careful with any nonstick coating, regardless of the marketing claims. If you want to check out HexClad, Tramontina, or Green Pan, I've linked to all three in the video description. And if you want to learn more, check out my in-depth review of HexClad, where I provide a full breakdown of the pros and cons. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.